Cool. Yeah. You hear me, right? We good? Straight? Okay.
Yes, indeed, man. It's DJ 411 the channel, man. We back with a whole new episode, actually. And I'm here with a very special guest, somebody that I've known for quite a while, you know what I'm saying? A staple, I feel like, in the dance community. Yeah, I can go on and on, but I want to just introduce, this is Lady K. You know what I'm saying? Lady K. And I hesitated because I know you go by a lot of names. Well, you used to.
I used to. I've been through a lot of names.
Okay,
I've done the whole dancer in the scene thing where you flip-flop between like 3 days.
Yeah.
So
I feel
like I landed on Lady K and it kind of stuck for the past like, what's it been like a couple years? It's been a couple years.
Yeah.
So I feel like that stuck and it's been cool.
That's
I feel
what's
like it fits
up.
me pretty good.
Yeah,
So.
nah, that's what's up. That's what's up. Nah, yeah, I want to like actually take my time with this one, because I feel like there's a lot to unpack, me personally.
Yeah, I agree. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Open book.
100%.
Okay.
There's nothing that I'll ever be like, nah, we can't get it.
All right.
Open book.
Bet. And also, you know, I know we keep it real, so it's like it ain't too professional and nothing like that. So I know, yeah, you can do whatever you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, let me make sure we rolling for real. Yeah, we rolling, right? We rolling. All right, yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
I reached out to you and I really wanted you, you know what I'm saying, to do an episode with you, because I felt like I always love talking to you about, you know, different stuff, and I feel like you always have like great, you know, opinions on different topics, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's in the dance community or whether it's just whether it's just like just in real life, period. Where you been at, Katie?
As of lately?
Yeah, where you been?
Home.
So,
yeah.
like,
it's been a journey.
Yeah.
But, like, I feel like the past like 3 years has been like a journey into, I know it's so overdone, but like finding yourself. I know everybody on that journey, but like I feel like when you go from being like a people pleaser to like I gotta be at every event, I gotta be in everybody's face, everybody gotta know me, I gotta say hi to everybody, I gotta hug everybody, and then you realize that like, oh shit, like I still feel like shit, even though all these people in my face telling me I look great, that I'm doing great, I'm doing big things. You know, you leave and you still feel that like emptiness. So like realizing that and then kind of looking into yourself and just being like, what is my issue actually? Like, am I lonely? Am I seeking approval from other people? Like, starting that journey sucks, and it sucks because like you're gonna hurt a lot of people's feelings unintentionally when you kind of start to isolate and like focus on yourself. So that's kind of what I've been on. So I feel like every event I pop up now, I get more of the reaction of like, oh shit, you're here.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's what I've been on. That's where I've been journeying through life alone.
I feel that. Mental health is a big thing.
That's fact.
How's your mental health?
Better.
Okay.
Better, for sure. Yeah, I feel like I went like through a super depressed period, like bad. Cause like I feel like anytime you decide to make that decision to like work on yourself, that depression is gonna hit. It's gonna hit hard because it's a big switch up from what you've been doing. So when you start to realize you're coming out of that, it starts to feel really, really good. Okay. Especially when you feel like you can kind of start to equalize back. You're gonna have a good balance of how you used to be and a good balance of what you are now. I've been good. I feel like I've been real good lately, especially the last year. Things have started to feel, I'm obviously hard on myself as an artist, like every artist is, but feeling a lot better. I feel like I understand myself a lot better and I understand things a lot better. So, yeah.
That's great. I'm glad you was able to have that clarity for yourself. I wanted to get that out of the way because I don't want to just dive into questions and not, see how you feeling for real.
I appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am. real quick though, before we get into the dance stuff, I want to like kind of take it back to where you grew up, where you was raised at, and everything like that. I want to know more about Katie.
Got you.
So where you was
ready?
born and raised? Yeah.
Strapping in.
Yeah, let's strap in.
So I've lived here my whole life. I'm Florida native. I literally have lived in this area, like Oldsmar, my entire life. My childhood home is like 10 minutes down the block from where I live now. So I ain't done enough traveling yet. I don't know the world enough yet, but I've always lived around this area. My home life was a lot different from everybody else's home life. I feel like not everybody, but a good amount of people's home life. Nobody in the scene really knows about me, maybe like a handful, but I grew up in like a very abusive home, super, super abusive. And that was really hard, but I live by like everything happens for a reason, like 100%, like everything, even if you don't get it, there's a reason and you'll get it one day eventually. So I feel like growing up in a home life like that and dealing with abuse of all kinds and growing up struggling with mental health for sure and self-confidence and everything, once I started to, I was in like middle school time, I was enrolled in a dance class, and that's when I kind of like discovered like, oh shit, life doesn't have to totally suck, like there are things out there that'll give you a little bit of excitement, give you a little bit of happiness. So it's kind of how I started, So then again, open book, so we can dive into that. We don't have to dive into that. I'm cool. So
no, we can definitely dive into that with your consent. I like to think that cause I went on your Instagram, right? Just doing my research, education, and everything. Before talking to you, and you said hip hop saved your life.
Yeah, for sure.
And it has something to do with the trauma that you got.
For sure, 100%.
Okay.
Growing up in an abusive household and dealing with somebody who was evil across the board, and being around people like, a lot of people don't really understand like the dynamic of like how that fucks with you when you grow up with a family member that's abusing you like really bad. Like a lot of people don't understand how that shifts, when you go from like outside life to coming home into a different life, and then having to kind of like, you become really good at becoming like a shapeshifter, and like hiding emotions, but also learning how to cope with shit. But as you get older, when you're still dealing with that, it fucks with your confidence. It makes it really hard for you to feel any type of joy when it comes to yourself, or being like looking at yourself. So for me, dealing with that, I actually had an accident that happened, I think it was 8th grade. I'm pretty sure it was 8th grade. It's been a long time. But I think it was like the first day of school in 8th grade. I got bullied a lot on top of it at school. I was a dorky little shit. So I got bullied a lot. Didn't have a whole lot of friends, kind of kept to myself. But I ended up, I would climb trees to not get bullied. So like I would get to the bus stop before everybody, and I would climb to the top of the tree, sometimes like 20, 30 feet up in the air, as high as I could go until I couldn't go anymore, so that they wouldn't know I was there, and I could just sit up there with like my headphones. This is so sad, so depressing. Don't be depressed. But I'd get there before everybody else with my headphones and listen to music and just kind of like sit calmly, and it was nice, bro. It was nice. I was just chilling, and I would just sit up there and I would wait until I would see the bus coming, because I could see like mad far when the bus was approaching, and I would just climb down and people would be like, oh shit, and then I'd get on the bus and pray to God nobody fucked with me on the bus. So there was one morning I climbed up, and I guess it had rained the night before, and I climbed up probably almost like 30, maybe 35 feet. It was the same tree at my bus stop that I would climb up every single time. And I still pass it like every time I get to my house. But I was smaller back then, so I could get up there. And I climbed up there, and I had my little niche where I would like sit in the tree. And then the bus went to come, and I slipped, and I ate shit.
Ew.
Plummeted.
Wow.
And there was concrete, so I hit a bunch of branches on the way down, and then maybe at about like 20 or so. I didn't measure this shit, but I know that they did tell me that it had to be between 20 to 30 feet of a fall or a little more. But fell, dangled there for a little minute, realized I didn't have upper body strength, couldn't pull myself up, so I just kind of had to like send it because I was like, I can't just hang here, bro. Like my hand is slipping. And at that point, all the kids like knew that I was there, obviously, because I ate shit in front of all these kids in my bus stop, not helping the fact that I was being bullied currently, making it worse. And then I landed in like a push-up position. So when I fell, I shattered this arm and I shattered it in 3 places. I broke both these pinkies. You're a real one if you know about the pinky thing, because I'd be hiding it when I talk like this, like you can't tell, but then like you look at my pinkies and they're fucked. Broke my ribs on this side, dislocated my shoulder. I don't remember, there was something with my hip, because my foot had like, the way I had landed, my foot was like that way, but there was something with the knee and the hip. Don't remember exactly, this was a long time ago. I think I was like 13, I'm 26 now, so it's been a while, but I had like a bunch of branches and shit like in my skin where it like, it was gross, it was real gross. And hit the pavement and like my bone had like shot out of my wrist. Sorry if you're eating or anything, but it was gross. And blacked out, like fully blacked out. And I woke up like one time and like all the kids at the bus stop were like standing over me like, is she dead? Like, and I remember looking up, seeing all these kids and just being like, fuck, and just just going back down. And then I woke up and to this day, don't know who she is, but I remember this little grandma, like this little grandma lady. Like I woke up and she was like holding me like this and she was fucking with my wrist because my bone was like my wrist was like slumped like up against the back of my arm and my bone was like out, bro. Like it was fully out. Bloody mess. And she was like fucking with my hand, like trying to like, I got you, like I fuck me up for life because I can't do bloody movies, I can't do gore. Broken bone, I'll faint. I'm a fainter now. Like it fucked me up. I'm a total fainter 100% now because of this. And saw that shit black back out. And then I just remember waking up and I was in her back seat and I'm laying there and I don't know if anyone's ever been in like a bad enough accident, like when you're in like enough pain and your body's like responding to like trauma and like adrenaline, you kind of like, it looks like you're like having a stroke. You're not, but your body's like uncontrollably going like this. So I'm like doing that. I look like I'm tweaking in the back of her car. And I just remember looking and she's driving and like she got her daughter, this young little girl, just eating a bowl of cereal like in the passenger seat. And she's just like looking at me like eating the cereal and I'm just in the back like
man.
Bloody, disgusting. And then I get to the ER and they like put me in a wheelchair, wheel me in, all that shit. And like at the time my mom was like, I think she worked like 2 hours away. My mom don't use technology. She don't use cell phones. So like getting a hold of her, probably not gonna happen. And I was a minor, so like they can't administer like pain or anything if you're a minor. So like I had to deal with that. I had to wait for her to show up. I kept going in and out of consciousness. They had to like cut me out of my clothes, which I was pissed because it was the first day of school. And like, you know, you got your first day of school outfit and you look fresh. I was pissed. But to make a long story short, had some complications during surgery, all this stuff. My wrist is still kind of fucked up to this day, but not bad enough to where like, my pinkies I have to go get like surgically fixed because like that's gonna fuck me up when I get older. Like this is gonna, but coming out of that, on top of getting bullied, and then after that I had to be in a wheelchair for a couple months. I had like a full brace, for my my side for where my ribs were, and like a full arm cast, like shoulder cast. They had like prescription painkillers, all that stuff, and it just really like, as a kid, I was only 13, but like I got addicted to those, got mad, like depressed, like more depressed. It was just like when you have so much time where you can't move and you just have to like lay there like and take painkillers and sleep, especially at that age, it's like you start going through shit and feeling shit like suicidal thoughts, shit like that you can't really understand why, but it was just like because of the accident, all of that just started. So when I started to get better, like mentally it just wasn't happening. Like I didn't do anything. I just slept all the time. I wanted to keep taking the painkillers, and like my mom was like scared because she was like, what the fuck is wrong with my kid? Like she's not talking to anybody. Like she doesn't go outside. She's not, like she just lays in bed with the lights off like every day. So she just came in one day and she was like get your ass up, like I enrolled you in a dance class. And she like threw a brochure at me, and it was for the studio over in Clearwater area, my childhood studio. Like, you've been there where they had a Buckwheats. It was the first Buckwheats clubhouse, I think.
Yeah.
So I'll fuck that up, LD, I'm sorry. But yeah, so I showed up at the dance class with the full cast and all the shit, like, and my teacher was just like,
yeah, like,
are you lost? What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, and I was like, it's been like 12 years or something crazy. It's been a long time. But yeah, I just kept taking dance classes and I got really into it, made a bunch of friends, and dance just became like mad therapeutic. Like even if I had like a shit day, like I was like, I'm gonna go, I got my dance class after school today, like I'm gonna kill shit and it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
And it just kind of turned into like this obsession, but in like a healthy way.
Right.
But yeah, so it definitely saved my life for sure, because like I'd definitely been suicidal as a young kid, being abused for sure. And coming out of that, like, you know, a few suicide attempts, trying to get out of that. And then there was a court case, a trial that was highly, like, it was in the newspaper, and like they had name dropped my mom, so a lot of people at the school knew what was going on. And there was a kidnapping attempt at my school that the police were involved. It was a big deal, and this was all happening when I was like 10 to 13 years old. So like once we won the court case, I think we were actually like, I don't know if this is factual or not. My mom told me it was the first court case to win in Florida where like the mother of a minor got full custody in an abuse case. So they put it in the newspaper. I remember seeing the newspaper like article, but like again, this is like how many years ago? I'm not good at math. It's been a while.
Yeah.
So I don't know how factual that is, but that's what I was told. But it was a lot, because I lost a lot of friends during that, because their parents obviously don't want their kid friends with someone who's like has a psychotic member of their family trying to kidnap them and shit. It was a lot. It sucked. Like I said, I talk about it openly just because like I'm not a victim, I'm a survivor. Like I'm big on that.
Yeah.
I just don't. If that hadn't happened to me, I wouldn't be who I am, and I wouldn't be as strong as I am, and I wouldn't, you know, have the street smart and be able to carry myself the way I am now, and be able to give advice to people, you know. So it's like dance, dealing with all of that, and then finding dance. It was cool because it was like when you're there and you're dancing, like you don't have to think about that shit.
Right.
You know, you get to like press pause and you get to do something that makes you feel good. Yeah. And dance helped me find my self-confidence. You know, everybody knows if you're doing a dance and you feel like you're killing shit, that's like the best feeling.
Right,
you feel hot shit.
Yeah.
Like in that moment, you're hot shit.
Right.
And yeah, made new friends, learned a bunch of new shit, and you know, that's pretty much it.
Nah, that's a great. That's a crazy
I told you it was
story.
a lot.
Nah, but you know when it was crazy, as bad as the accident sound, I know that didn't hurt as an ounce more than mentally you was hurting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know for a fact that inside that physical pain ain't hurt as much as you was really hurting inside. And so for you to overcome that is a big thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I will say it hurt a lot. If you ever anybody that's broken a bone out there, what it felt like is like if you ever burned yourself to the point of blistering, imagine that, but like head to toe everywhere, and like all your nerve endings are like going like this. So it's like jolts of that like burn pain just constantly. That's what it felt like. But granted,
No,
physically sucked. Mentally really sucked.
I feel. Nah, yeah, for sure. But as far as with the dance, that allows you, you know, that traumatic experience. You went from that to dance. And then, do you remember who your first like teacher? Like, did you start in the studio, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been so long. To this day, like her face is clear as day, bro. Yeah. I thought so. Like my first dance teacher, she was this beautiful woman. Like. I don't swing that way, but she was beautiful. I can appreciate.
Yeah,
and what was her name? Was Bianca? Was it Bianca? That sucks. I don't remember that. I gotta ask my mom. But she had like long black hair to her butt, which I was so jealous of. And she was beautiful. I think she was Colombian, but the prettiest woman I've ever seen in my life. Had the confidence for days, makeup for days, style for days, and that was my first teacher. So like I walked in there like, holy shit, like, how do I be like you, bro?
Yeah,
like, what the fuck? As a 13-year-old kid, like I feel like, especially girls that age, like you want to cling to someone that you could be like, I want to dress like her. Like I'm gonna try to put on a fit like her. Like I'm gonna try to do my hair like her. Like, so that helped because like she was the nicest teacher, but she also had like, she had a backbone. Like she didn't take shit, which I appreciated.
Yeah.
And like all her dances were like to the music that I fucked with. A big Sean Paul lover, big dance hall lover. Any Amapiano, like crazy. And that's all the shit that she taught you. Like Nicki Minaj, big Nicki Minaj fan back in that time, still am. But like back then, so she did like feminine strong dances, like feminine strong hip hop. She was opening at the time at that studio. They had a crew that would open for Jingle Ball. Which back in the day, I mean, Jingle Ball's still big, but like back in the day, Jingle Ball was like big. And she would open for them, like with the crew and everything, and she was always in the front. So I just looked up to her. God, I need to remember her name, bro, because she changed my life. And I would tell her that to this day. But yeah, like it was just getting to learn from someone like that. And then not just her, there were other teachers. What was her name? I don't remember. There was another blonde teacher. They were like best friends. I don't remember who she was, but she taught more of like the heavy shit, like the hard, like more aggressive shit. And my other instructor was more feminine. So it's like I had these two strong women teachers that I could, And then I had there was another instructor at Shaolin. I still remember his name because I kept up with him over the years. I think we still got each other on Facebook. But he really pushed the shit out of me in class, like 100%. He was one of those teachers that like would piss you off, and you'd be like, "Yo, get off my ass, bro." But then like it was good because it helped and it taught you how to be better. So it was like all the teachers I had they all taught me different things, and they all gave me something to strive for, something to aim for, and something to kind of like make myself a goal without realizing I was doing that. But like, yeah, I'm gonna be like you. Like I'm gonna do this. Like I want to be confident like you. And I was with them for years, like fucking 10 years or something crazy like that. So it was like, I did a lot of cool shit, and that's ultimately what catapulted me into the dance scene now, the Florida dance community. From the studio world, you know, that's where I met LD, K-Soul, MJ. Like, they started teaching freestyle classes. And that catapulted me into like what else is out there than just like dance classes, like at a studio. So it was cool. It was mad cool.
And so they was your introduction to dance?
Wow. Yeah, I grew up with them. We go way back. They knew me from when I was a little shit, when I used to tie the flannel around my waist and rock the Supras. I was a big give me some Supras now. I'll still rock Supras. I don't care. I still am gonna get a tattoo. I'm gonna get a tattoo with 2 Supras because those were my shoes. I went through so many pairs of Supras as a little studio kid. But I met LD, and I believe he was teaching. No, wait. We did for NBC Step Up Revolution, the movie that came out. That was like big at the time. That was like the movie. Big promo for that shit. And Twitch, rest in peace to Twitch.
Oh, rest in peace,
100%. Y'all already know. That dude, love him. But that's where I was blessed to meet him. And we got to meet some of the cast from the movie, and at the time, the studio dance company was like the studio. Like, they were doing all the big gigs, all the big opening performances. Like, they were the studio. Everybody wanted to join. Mr. Nick, Miss Lisa, they held it down. So getting off track. So they came, they were doing open auditions for a flash mob for the movie on NBC, to open up NBC. So at the time, I didn't know LD and them like that. Like it was just like I seen them around the studio, but like I didn't know them like that. They were kind of like they had their own little group, and they were older than me, so like I was just kind of just like maybe we'll be friends. And then I made the auditions, and that's where I kind of got to meet with them. So we had to learn the piece from Twitch, we had to learn the piece from all of them, and then we did it. And then after that, it kind of like catapulted me into this new group of people where I was like, oh, cool, like we can talk, we can meet. And then I do believe, again, it's been a long time, but I'm pretty sure that's when he started teaching freestyle classes.
Okay.
After, I think it was like not after hours, but like later in the day, he would host freestyle class where he would teach kids freestyle. And that's when K-Soul, MJ would show up as well, and they would all kind of do their thing, and I started learning from them. And at the time, the crew that I was with at that studio, we had a big falling out.
Oh.
And I'd been there for like 10 years. So like that was the only world I knew.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know anything other than that.
Right.
And I had a big falling out, and I was like, I can't go back. There was an issue with ownership at the time. One of the main choreographers, we bumped heads a lot. We did not see eye to eye. He didn't really treat people with respect, and I couldn't really deal with that. So I decided that it was my time to leave and move on. And I had outgrown my space with these people and the classes, and I needed something else. So I remember I'm pretty sure I hit up LD, and I was like, hey, like, I know y'all do this somewhere else. Is there another studio? Like, I probably still got the messages somewhere. I just gotta scroll for hours, but I'll find them. And I was like, yo, like, where do you guys go? Like, is there anything else like I can do? Like, I think I was 18. I'm pretty sure. Because at the time, at one point, Ebor had a bunch of shit. Like, you can get into shit like 18 and up. Like the cooler spots used to be 18 and up.
Okay.
And so they were like, yo, like, there's this event coming up, like you should come out, like come with us. And I was like, oh, like cool. My timeline's a little fuzzy. I don't remember if it was Beatbox I went to first or Thesis. It was one of those events that I went to first, or it was ODS. One of those three. My memory is kind of fucked as to what was the first one I went to. One of either Beatbox, which was Mouse's event, or I think it was Mouse's event. Beatbox, ODS, or Thesis. But I just remember I came out with them, and it was kind of like dipping your toes in. And my brain was like fucking blown. I was like, I had no idea that people got down like this. Like, I was a studio kid. I was a little shit studio kid. The only thing I knew was, all right, 5, 6, 7, 8, look in the mirror. We gonna learn to dance. It's gonna be 20 seconds long. Like, you better show out. Like, that was all I fucking knew. The only freestyle I knew was your little fucking two-step you do before you start the choreography. Like, I didn't know nothing. And so, that like blew my mind. And it was just crazy. I was like, holy shit. Like, it like sparked something in me where I was like, yo, like, I found it. Like, I found something that I can be a part of. And I was like, I just knew in that moment, like, I want to be a part of this community. Like, watching the way that people like went at each other, but at the same time like have mad respect, and just like the joy and the happiness when a DJ plays a fire fucking track and everybody just goes crazy. Like, I was like standing there just like, holy shit, bro, like I want this, I need this. It was dope.
I noticed that'd be a lot of our takes on it, because a lot of times people be thinking, oh, that's just in the movies or that's just on TV, but then when you see it in real life, it blows your mind, because it's more real, it's more, you know what I'm saying, it's more professional and everything, and it's an actual thing. Now, when you first got in the dance scene, how was you received? Okay. No, she get loose.
So I'm gonna say this, and I'm sure there are people who will agree with me, who will disagree with me, as my perspective, but. And from multiple people that I've talked to about it, is the Florida scene that I've been in used to be way different than it is now.
Okay.
So, and granted, I wasn't one of the originals, like Alvin, any of the Floridians. Like, I wasn't in there that far back, like some of the B-boys, but I got in there right. I think my introduction to the scene was right as the Floridians were kind of like transitioning to move
To LA.
and like the events that they were putting on and stuff. Like I caught a couple of them, like the Mouse era, Floridian era, like that era of shit. I kind of came in on the tail end of that.
Okay.
When everyone was kind of like that generation of dancers were kind of like growing up on the bigger and better shit, you know, like what happens every time. It's like people grow up, new lives, new stuff. So I got the introduction like right as shit like that was kind of ending a little bit. Still going on, but not as strong.
Yeah.
Like I think some of those cats were in the scene probably only a couple years until they all moved out. Floridians moved out. Like people started dispersing, and then it was kind of like the people that I was meeting first off were kind of like becoming the top dogs in the scene.
Right.
But the scene, I feel like, is my opinion, but I feel like the scene used to be very like cutthroat. Like shit was, if you were a nobody, and when I say that, I mean like random, nobody knows who you are. You showed up to an event and you wanted to stand in a cypher, stand on the sidelines and hang out and just watch.
Yeah.
You couldn't. That's not a thing. That was not a thing, because the fuck are you doing standing here taking up space if you're not gonna dance?
Yeah.
That's how it was. Okay. And me at the time, what I looked like was not how I look now. I was like platinum blonde, little blonde Barbie, hair to my butt. I wore like yoga pants and I thought I was hot shit as a dancer. Yoga pants, crop tops, all red Converse. L Boogie, we had the same Converse, if you remember this. If you see this, same Converse, the all red Converse, red laces, red soles, everything. Yeah, I thought I was hot shit. Fake lashes to my eyebrows. I thought I was hot shit. Studio kid, I would tie the flannel around the waist, you know. I looked like I had just come from a class. And like I wanted to keep coming to events, so I would come and I wanted to be like right there, because I was like, I want this. So I would stand in the cypher and I would just be like watching, and then all of a sudden you'd have someone in your face like, yo, like trying to battle you in a cypher, getting in your face, or like somebody right here being like, yo, fucking dance, or someone would try to call you into the cypher to not, I'd say embarrass you a little bit, because they'd be like, who the fuck are you? I don't know if it was an embarrass you thing or if it was like a what do you got? Why are you here? You gonna dance? Like, but it was definitely a lot of that. Like, you couldn't just be a random that put yourself in the center of shit. Like, if you were gonna put yourself in the center of shit, what are you doing about it? Like, do something. Don't fucking stand there, or you can fucking leave. I had multiple times that shit happened to me, where I'd be like, people would get in my face, and I'd be like, I'm just trying to like watch and learn, and they'd be like, nah, fuck out of here, get out of here then. Like, you either dance or you get out. Don't stand in the fucking middle of the cypher.
Right.
So that's how the scene used to be. That's the treatment that I got. I can't speak on everybody, but it was definitely like the scene used to be more so like, if you want to be here, you need to fucking show us you want to be here.
You gotta do something.
Like, like you're not gonna come in, see cute shit, take shit, and leave. Like that's not what you're gonna do. Especially being like a studio kid coming into the street dance world. I feel like it definitely used to be like way more intense, aggressive. And I loved it at the time, because I was like, I'm here. Like, what do I need to do to show you I'm not going anywhere? Like, and I took this shit hard. Like, I just started trying to teach hip-hop, advanced hip-hop classes. And after thesis, all the people that I had met, I'd found them on Facebook, and, you know, Facebook was like hot shit. That's how you linked up with everybody back then. So I started inviting people to, you know, come take my advanced hip-hop class.
So you was teaching it?
I thought I was doing something. That's not obviously what I was teaching, because I didn't know what the fuck actual, like, real hip-hop was. I was doing choreo shit, you know, calling it advanced hip-hop, inviting everybody I fucking knew. Everybody's Facebook I could find, like, inviting them. And there was some people back in the day that wouldn't let that shit slide. You know who you are. Yeah, so it was like ruthless shit, man. Like people would blast me on Facebook. People would post shit or like DM me and be like, yo, you ain't teaching fucking hip hop. Like get this whack shit off you. Like you're not fucking teaching shit. Like, no, this isn't a fucking hip hop class. Like not like just, you know, that's how some people work, you know. The big heads in the scene, a lot of them were like that back in the days.
So even with going through what you went through, you know, your traumatic experiences outside of dance, and then having to go into the dance scene where it's supposed to be love and having to deal with certain stuff, and it still didn't deter you from still being in the dance scene and still wanting to go hard?
Nah, because I feel like I got knocked down enough times where it was more so like, what's up?
Yeah, you was built for this.
Bring it.
What up?
Like, all right, fine. Like, I'm here. Like, I want this, you know? Because at the time, like, I had nobody. I had no friends. The only friends I had were the studio that I'd been a part of. And I had big falling out, left. You know, I had no friends, bro. I had no friends. I had just started teaching at a new studio. They gave me my first dance job ever. Tyler was the instructor at the time, Vibe Dance in Largo.
Damn.
I love him. I keep hitting this thing. I'm sorry.
No, you good.
But yeah, like I showed up, little nobody, being like, "Hey, I don't have a studio anymore, and I need a studio. Like, can I teach here? Or can I take a class?" And like, they were so welcoming, so loving. Met a bunch of great people. All of a sudden, had a new home it felt nice.
Yeah.
So like, I was craving something else because it was more so like I didn't want what happened with my other studio to happen again.
Right.
So I was like, I need to do more. I need to do something else. Like, I feel like I wanted to elevate, you know, I didn't want to just teach hip hop classes. Like, I wanted to find something else that would kind of push me. So it was hard though, because there was a lot of times where I was like, I don't think I can do this. Like, I don't know if I want to be a part of a scene. Like, people are aggressive like this. Like, I'm not feeling welcoming. But it was just like, it would be those moments where like I would see people in the scene just loving it. Like just exchanging energy in the most beautiful way. Like back in the Mona days, that contact improv shit, you would see that and you'd be like, yo, like I want that. I need that.
Sure.
What is that energy? And I'd see like cats come in through the door and just dap everybody. And it was like everybody knew everybody. Everybody was cool with everybody. But it was also like, yo, this is our community. Right. You're an outsider. Like, so, and I got that. And it was more so like, okay, well, what do I gotta do to not be an outsider?
Yeah, to come
like,
in this bitch.
Yeah, like how do I become that? You know, like I want to come into the scene and I want to dap up everybody. I want them to call my name at a battle and everybody be like, yo, you know, like I want that. I want to become someone in the scene, whether it's someone who's big or someone who's just there all the time and you just know their face. Like I want to be someone that's like people know about me, or like they're hyped to see me, or like I get done with my round and people are dapping me up and telling me you did great. Like just like that community feeling where it's like you step in and you know everybody knows you, and you're like, cool, like let's get down. So and it was just kind of like I wasn't gonna take shit, and I was kind of, because of taking those classes, helping me get confident, helping me find myself more. I had turned all that shit into kind of like, I'm not gonna lie, in school, I had become that girl that was like, if I didn't like what you were saying, I'd hit you. I'd just fully knock you shit, like right in the face. That's what I had started taking self-defense classes in high school at the same time of doing classes and stuff. So it was like I was building my confidence in these dance classes, but then I was also like building my confidence in the real world. Right. Because you know, like I had a safety issue in my everyday life where like my past was still very much present. Like it's still very much a safety concern. You know, that person is still very much around. I don't have the freedom to just walk around and be like la-di-da, whatever. Like I always got to keep my eyes peeled at all times. Right. You know, so it was like that carried everything. So it's like when I came into the scene and I started getting pushback, I was like, fucking bring it. Let's fucking do it. So it was a lot. It was a lot of things that kind of started happening at the same time, but I knew for a fact that I wanted to be in the dance scene. Like I wanted to be a part of the community. I wanted to meet these people, learn from these people, and show them that like I'm not just here to like bullshit. Like, I really want to do what you do. Like, I want to become that. So, yeah.
Now, do you feel like a little bit of that was because you was a female as well?
Oh yeah, for sure. Shout out to She's Got It, Desi.
Shout out.
Liz. I'm forgetting a couple people's names, but you know who you are. But
yeah,
definitely Miso for sure. But like back in the scene, females were not. It wasn't a thing, you know. Like to keep it a buck. Females in the scene, if they was in the scene and they was hanging out around dudes, the majority of people's assumption was they're fucking.
Yeah.
You know? And if you were a good-looking female that was showing up and you were talking, trying to train and do all this shit, you was fucking.
Yeah.
You were fucking. Like, that's just what it was. That was, I feel like, maybe not for everybody, but the consensus that I understood from that was like a pretty face, good-looking chick, what's up? You know, like,
right.
You know, you want to train.
Yeah, that's how they get you.
You trying to train.
You trying to session? Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, that's how it was, you know? Nobody really took you seriously. And I say not everybody, but a good amount, I feel like, definitely for females back in the scene. It just wasn't really a thing, you know? And if for the ones that were in the scene, it was because they fought for that, you know? It's because they fought for that respect.
Yeah.
And I got that. And so I was like, bet. Like, Mona, shout out to Mona. 100%.
Shout out.
Big friends of Mona. I haven't seen her in a minute. But especially back in those days, like, me and Mona linked, and I was just like, yo, like, you're dope. Like, I wanna become this level of like shit. Like, you walk into a room and people are like, yo, you see her dance? It's fucking crazy, bro. Like, it was just that level of respect where I was like, I want that. I need that.
Yeah.
And the women that were in the scene at the time, they were fucking badass. They were all badass. There wasn't a woman in the scene, in my opinion, that was just there to be, you know, la-di-da. Like, it just wasn't. If they were in the scene and they were taking heads, you know, like they were fire. So that definitely was like, all right, cool. Like, there's like 3 of us. That could be a 4th. What's up?
Let's go. Yeah.
So yeah.
Nah, that's good. Yeah, you definitely had some killers back there. Jolene. You know what I'm saying? I know all the B girls and all that, man. Y'all, it's definitely a time. You feel me? But you know, going from the studio dance company, right? And then switching over into the dance scene. Normally, people join crews. Did you join the crew? What was your first crew you joined?
I never joined a crew.
Never joined a crew.
Nah. That was also a thing too that I heard from a lot of people, like fresh meat. You know, like when you got, because I feel like that was a lot of it too. People wanted to see what you had so they could scoop you up into their crew. And I had linked up. With Robozilla.
Shout out,
100%, and super dope dancer, incredible, and you know, he taught me a lot, and thankfully I had guidance from him in regards to like how to maneuver in the scene and like how to just take shit with a grain of salt, let it roll off your back, keep pushing, you know, and it was a big learning curve, and it was dope though. It was really dope. What was the question?
Nah.
I keep getting off topic, bro. I've done this like 5 times.
Nah, you good. But it was about crews. But speaking of, go ahead. All right.
Yeah, but so that's where I was going with that. Was like, anytime that there was an offer on the table, I would ask. I'd be like, "What do you think?" Like, they asked me to join their crew, and he would always keep it a buck and be like, you know, did people do that?
So you had offers and stuff.
Yeah, and it was like people are gonna do that shit. Like, you're new, they're gonna want to mold you and sculpt you to be like them. Like, they see an opportunity, and that's why. And there's also the ones that want you in their crew because you're good looking, and they're dudes that are just trying to, you know. And that's why I was thankful to have someone like that in my corner to kind of like guide me. And ultimately, my opinion of the whole thing was like seeing Robo and seeing his crew and Tyler and you, and seeing the dynamic with you guys and the brotherhood with that, and then seeing other crews like the Floridians at Thesis, seeing like their showcase and like how they were connected. You could off rip, you could see the crews that had that and that didn't.
Right.
And I wanted that. You know, it always, for me, it always came down to like community and like feeling that kind of like companionship with people. Like I didn't want to just be in a crew to be in a crew,
right,
or be in a crew to rep the name. Like I wanted that family dynamic.
Yeah.
Whereas like when we perform, you feel it, and outside of that, we're kicking it. Like,
yeah.
And I never caught that. I mean, I was friends with a lot of different people where I got that energy, but it was just like at the time, the offers that I was getting, I was like, I don't know you, and I feel like you don't want to know me. I feel like you just. You know, it's on some shit that I'm not really about.
Yeah.
Or I just didn't feel it, or I didn't feel the potential that I could develop that energy with this crew. So it was just kind of like, you know, no thanks, I'm gonna just keep it moving.
Right.
And I'm hard on myself, so I just like I would always say like, I'm not at a point yet where I feel like I'm good. Like I'm ass, bro. I'm trash. So I was like, no, like I need to find myself, because again, I started off in the scene not knowing how to freestyle. I didn't know what musicality was. I was straight choreo. Like didn't know how to freestyle. If I did freestyle, it looked whack. But yeah, so I was just like, how am I gonna join your crew? For one, you don't know me. You want me to be in your crew? It's weird. Like, what? Don't you want to know me before you add me to your crew?
Right.
And then for two, what is my style? Don't have a style. I don't know shit. I don't got musicality. Like, I'm ass, bro. I danced like a white girl, like a plain fucking white girl. Like I danced like a studio kid that had never freestyled before.
Yeah.
On beat as fuck.
Yeah.
Ass, total ass. But yeah.
But you did win the second place with Groove. Yeah, Shady.
Yeah, Groove Maniacs.
Yeah.
Shout out to Shady.
Explain how that came about. Was that like a mini, like
that was
crew?
Groove Maniacs at the time, coming up, and like my goal at one point was just like, I want to become I want to rep hip hop for the females in the scene.
Yeah.
Like at one point that was like the goal, to be like, I want to be one of the top females in the scene. When people think hip hop and people think female, people think Lady K. Like that was like what I wanted to be. I wanted to be when people are like strong females in the scene who rep the community.
Right.
Like I wanted my name to be up there with these people.
Yeah.
Up there with Mona, up there with Jolene. Like I wanted to be one of those females that it was like, nah, like I put on for the scene, and I rep this style because it's near and dear to my heart.
Right.
But what was the question?
Oh nah, just like how
I'm ADD. Is it ADD?
you good.
ADHD?
Yeah, I was saying like how Groove Maniacs came about and everything. Yeah.
Thanks. You're gonna have to keep reminding me these questions.
Right.
Also new to the podcast world. This is the first podcast I've ever done.
Yeah.
This is a podcast, right?
Well,
YouTube video.
it is now. It is now.
Podcast is you listen to it, you don't look at it.
Yeah.
That's what it is. See, this is the first one, so forgive me. But yeah, so coming up through the ranks, getting the opportunity to have a mentor like Buddha Stretch, like Tyler, like Robo. Robo didn't necessarily do hip hop, but he put me on to the people that I needed to go to. Yeah, it just, when I started meeting people and people kind of started being like, oh shit, like, you know your shit. Like I train, I do this shit, like this is my life. And then I met Boo Boo, Shady, and then like Staccato obviously has been putting on for the hip hop in the scene for a long time. But it was more so like I just wanted, I don't know if I didn't want it to be a crew. Like I never wanted to be a crew or in charge of a crew. I never wanted that. It was just like, it started off as literally me and Shady just being like mad cool with each other. Like he's a homie for life. One of the greatest dancers I've ever met, greatest people I've ever met.
That's real.
Smartest, strongest, skill set, crazy, mad respect. But we did the 2v2, and that was just more so because I was like, I think you're a fucking great dancer. Can we please do a 2v2 together? And we did. And then I was just like, we need to come up with a name. And I thought Groove Maniacs was mad cool. So it's like, that sounds mad cool. I fuck with that name.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was kind of like, yo, like I really love the name of Groove Maniacs. Like I want there to be like a hip hop group, like all the hip hop dancers, just like Groove Maniacs. Like, wouldn't that be dope? And then it was me, Shady, Boo Boo. We were all training together all the time, and we would just call ourselves Groove Maniacs. And then people would be like, "Is it your crew?" I'm like, "No, I don't know what it is. It's not a crew. I just want to be me with really cool people." But then there was also the thought at one point, like, well, what if there was like a Facebook page or something, like Groove Maniacs, for like people that want to learn hip hop or people that want to educate themselves on hip hop dance. Like what if we had something like that? And those ideas were passed around, and it just kind of never happened because I don't know. I just kind of never wanted that responsibility to be like in charge of a group of people. Like I was just like, I just kind of want to. I always refer to myself as a student. Like I'm still on my journey. Like just. I don't feel like I was in a position to, you know, be like, this is what it is, this is what we're gonna do. Yeah. I just don't feel like I was there at that level. So I just feel like it didn't go anywhere. It's still a name that I love. If I ever do a 2v2 with someone, I wanna call it Groove Maniacs. If I ever have a group where we do a showcase or some shit, Groove Maniacs is sticking with it. Cause I just think the name is fresh. Yeah. The name is fresh. I don't give a fuck.
And you like that groove word too, cause I remember we had something similar to
we did.
In Groove or something. What was it? In Groove?
Was it In Groove? It
was something like that, yeah. But yeah, and then we just did like a battle or something, but that was pretty much it. Yeah. But you know, so just being in the scene. First of all, you was at Thesis, right?
This Thesis?
Yeah. All right, recap it real quick. How you felt about Thesis?
I mostly was working. I was vending with my business, Katie's Customs.
Katie's Customs.
Fashion designer. That was like, Thesis for me is like my biggest event sales-wise for my business. That's like the biggest event that I prep for all year.
Fire.
Dancing-wise is an event. Thesis is just, I tell every single person the same thing. Thesis is the biggest dance event in Florida that happens. If you can go, go. If you can't go, figure it out. Yeah. Be there.
For sure.
Again, Floridians, I wish I could have gotten into the scene sooner to see the history come up with that. But, you know, the first Thesis I went to is the reason why I was like, I'm doing this. You know, it was crazy. And I don't know if it was the first Thesis or the second Thesis that I was at, but I'm always gonna go. And ever since I started my business, Hans has always blessed me with a spot to vend.
That's what's up, yeah.
So the last two Theses, that's just solely been like my only goal for being there was just to sell pieces, you know. I did decide to battle because I know I decided I wasn't gonna battle for a long time, and I did decide to battle just because they did the whole house music option for the prelims. Yeah. So I was like, house has been my jam for the past year. It was just, I mean, I thought it was a beautiful event. I think Thesis is always great. I know there were some issues in regards to timing, like time frame wise with people, with like the event and shit. But like, I feel like Hans always does a great job of putting on a dope event. Music was fire, people were fire, showcases were fire. Sales were fire. So, I mean, you know, like all in all, pretty great. So,
right. But speaking of you being a vendor, you have your own company, Katie Customs, right? So how did that come about? Let's talk and get into that.
So I've always been into art ever since I was like in elementary school, and my mom was enrolling me into art classes and art shows and competitions, and I would win all these medals and all this stuff. I started off with like just colored pencils. I grew up in like the church. I was a church baby. Like mom, big into church. They called me a little pulpit baby because like the pulpit where the pastor would stand, I would lean up against it and like draw.
Oh yeah.
It was a small church. Everybody knew everybody. Yeah. But it just kind of developed as I got older, and I feel like it definitely, I was able to like channel a lot of shit, and I was able to kind of just like quiet all the stress by just sitting there and like drawing on my sketchbook as a kid. Then I got into like charcoal, so it was always colored pencils or charcoal. I've always been crafty, dabbled in jewelry, like the shit that I'm wearing now, I made this, but like I dabble in jewelry, dabble in just, I love making shit, like I just love it, like pottery, stuff like that. And then I got into like high school, and I started I learned how to paint, like acrylic paint.
Yeah.
And my teacher enrolled me in some college art classes for that. And I was doing like, you know, like the bougie fucking painting classes where people got wine, and there's like opera music in the back, and you're sitting on like the stool. Like, I was doing shit like that.
Oh, that's fire.
So I've always been into it. And so what happened was my mom, she ended up getting diagnosed with breast cancer a couple years ago. She's cool now. I always got to say that because everybody's always like, oh. And I'm like, she's cool now. She's good. But it sucked. Like, it definitely like rocked the shit out of me when we figured that out. So I remember, like clear as day, I remember I was getting ready in the bathroom downstairs. My mom came around the corner and she was like, hey, I had a lump like right here, like on the side of my breast. It's kind of freaking me out. And I was like, fuck, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, cause your brain's automatically like, oh fuck. And she showed me, and I was like, when you need to go get that shit looked at. And so we went to the doctor, she did her tests, and I took her, and then it was like a couple days later where they called her in to like talk about the results, and like we were sitting there, and her doctor was Dr. Figueretta, great doctor, by all means, badass lady. But I remember like just sitting in the room and her being like, so your results came back positive for cancer. And I just remember like, yeah, they depict that shit in movies so well.
Yeah.
Like when the music, like your heart drops and the music goes like, doom.
Yeah.
Yo, I thought I got hit by a bus, bro. Cause like your brain automatically is just like the worst, you know? And it sucked. I did not handle it well. I lost my shit. I fell apart. I love my mom. It's always just been me and my mom. And so I was talking next steps and everything, and we found out apparently like my mom, she had implants, and like, you know, back in the old days, medicine wasn't that great, so they didn't do them well, but they had ruptured, and they'd been in there for a couple, like 20, 30 years, ruptured, just not fixed.
Yeah.
I don't know if my mom knew about it, but ultimately, because of the rupture and all the chemicals and stuff just sitting in your body for that long, it had developed a tumor, and the tumor was attached to where the old breast implant had kind of like shriveled up, like it had formed on that. So they're assuming that the reason that they ruptured and they were just kind of like that for so long, that's why the tumor developed. My grandma did have cancer, so it's definitely something that's in our family, so that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did the steps and everything. They started her on like chemo treatment, and then they started prepping for her surgery. And me and my mom, you know, we don't make a lot of money, but we're not, you know, bottom of the barrel scraping. We're middle, but surgery's expensive, mad expensive. And I think it was something crazy, like up front, like to even do the surgery, they wanted like $4,000, like off rip. And like that, off rip, we don't have that, you know, like we can get it, but we don't got it now, you know? And I could just tell like my mom was like stressing the fuck out because it's life-threatening. So you're like, do whatever you need to do, but then at the same time, you're like, how am I going to pay for this?
Right,
you know?
right.
And I don't know if it was before or after, but Misty, another
shout out.
artist in the scene, she has a clothing business, and we were tight at the time, and she offered me a job with her, so for some extra cash, because I love fashion. I always bought stuff from her at dance events, and you know, she offered to be her assistant to come with her to events, and she'd pay me, I think it was like $10 an hour per event to help her like load, unload, and stuff like that, which was cool. That was good money for me.
That's what's up.
And so, yeah. So me and my mom were trying to figure out like how the fuck are we gonna scrape up enough money for the surgery, because like this is happening in like a week. And like Misty was one of the ones that was like, you know, I don't remember because it's been so long. I don't remember if I started painting on clothes first, or that was like an idea that was developed working with Misty. I'm not 100% sure, but it was an idea, and then Misty basically gave me the platform, and she was like, if you want to sell some stuff to make extra money while you're working with me, like you can put some stuff on my racks, and if they sell, Like you can keep that profit.
That's
and
what's up.
I was like that, because at the time, like we were cool, and I told her my situation, and I was like, I don't know what to do, because I don't have the money. Like I think at the time I ran a yoga studio in Oldsmar, and I think the pay was like $9 an hour. Like it wasn't shit at the time.
Yeah.
Top of like car payments, cell phone bills and stuff. I ain't have shit. So that I started making money from that, and then that ultimately that dynamic changed, and it turned into like, okay, I can do this on my own. Like I can make a bigger profit if I put out more stuff, and maybe I come to an event and I, instead of selling some stuff here with this person, like what if I just make a booth, like I just sell my shit and like be transparent about it. And I was mad transparent about it. I had a jar that I set on the side for donations if anybody wanted to donate to the cause to help me, because that's ultimately all the proceeds I was raising for my mom. Like what can I make this money to help? I think at the time my mom, she had credit cards and shit, so she was able to pay for the surgery on the credit card.
Okay.
But at that point, like that had wiped us out. So I was like, I need to give her this money back. I need to raise money to help my mom, because the bills are going to keep coming in. I mean, we're talking radiation, we're talking treatment after the surgery, so that's what I started doing. And I would tell people at every event that I worked, every event that was coming up, every dance event, I'd message the person. I'd be like, do you mind if I bring a booth, if I sell some stuff? I'm trying to raise money. I'm going to also offer a donation, like if you don't mind announcing it on the mic, just to make people aware. And I'd started like a GoFundMe as well, that I was like messaging people online, like if anybody can help me. And it catapulted me into like making my own shit, because I'd always known how to sew. I took my first sewing class in high school, my freshman year of high school. So like that love of fashion had always been there. When I was younger and I would draw dresses all the time. I'd always loved fashion. I didn't know that was a direction it was going to veer me into. Was becoming a fashion designer. So I was mostly like painting. That was like my shit. Like I'm an artist. I'm an acrylic painter. That's my medium. And I would get like vintage shit or cool shit at thrift stores, and then come home and I'd paint dope pieces on them, and then I'd sell them. And I think within like a month we'd raised the $4,000 and then some. I believe like I definitely raised close to 10. I think like a lot, and that would mean in the span of like 6 months to a year. That was the number, but it was definitely like I was able to help my mom pay off like all her bills.
That's what's up.
Just solely from making shit in the community, donating, and people coming together, donating to the GoFundMe. Like people helping me out, like $5 here. Some people were gracious enough to donate a couple hundred. Like it was just like the community really. It was like it came full circle, because I was like I have this is my community. Like these are my people. Like these people are helping me out.
Yeah.
Like these event people who are throwing these battles, like they're letting me vend. They're not asking for a fee. Like it was just little shit like that that really like made me. It like hit me in regards to like I have a community. Like all the years of fighting for that shit. Like I got it. So it was cool. It was great. It sucked because the home life was terrible. That whole process of the healing process of my mom, like big mental toll, because like you look up to your parents that they're superheroes. Yeah. And it happens. I feel like it happens to everybody, but there's one day where you look at your parent and you just go, holy shit, they're not. They're small and fragile and like, oh shit, and that definitely was it. Like when they wheeled her out of the room after her surgery, bro, and like I had to help her out of her gown, like my mom came to like here on me. I'm not super tall. I'm like 5'9", 5'10", but like I was like looking at my mom like this little shriveled thing. Like it sucked. It took a big mental toll on me. Like it was hard. It was mad hard. And then I had to keep pushing making stuff to make money. So it was just like, yo. But she's good now. She's good.
No, that's what's up.
She's cancer free. She's
that's great.
She's good to go. She's been able to wean off a lot of the medicine that she was on beforehand. My mom gets up and goes to the gym every day at 5 in the morning. My mom is 68 now. Every morning 5 a.m. goes to the gym. So my mom's a badass.
Yeah, put in that work. Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
And I know helping her probably meant way more to you than any winning dance battle that you can win or anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that's a great thing. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
But with the KD Customs though, like, with the sales and everything like that, you ain't have no help other than, you know, saying Misty, you know, coming through. And
I definitely had help for sure. I mean, every event ever that I've ever worked at, there's always dancers that come up and go, "Yo, okay, you need help?" Like every time, bro. And it's my favorite thing because like even just recently, my boyfriend came to Thesis, and like there were some times my boyfriend was like, "Yo, I'm gonna go grab this," and I'd be like, "Okay," and then like I'd like 2 more dudes would be going to help him, and he'd be like, I'd be like, "Just that's what they do. They're gonna help eventually." Like they're all like that. Every event, there's always someone, whether it's a homie, an acquaintance, or someone that just sees that I'm moving a lot of shit. People always come over and say, "Yo, can I help you?" My boyfriend at the time going through that, you know. He helped me tremendously with moving shit, with the creative process. But I definitely had a lot of help. And I don't think I wouldn't have been able to do all that shit if I didn't have people in my corner. If I didn't have people in the scene helping me, putting me on, you know, really close friends for support, my boyfriend at the time for support, you know, it sucked. I mean, my boyfriend at the time, he was helping me so much, like, so like after someone has surgery, especially a surgery like that, they attach a drain. Sorry, this is real gross. Tune out now. But they attach a drain that drains like fluid and blood and shit, and you gotta dump it like every few hours. I'm a fainter. I can't do it. Like in the hospital, actually, when they wheeled my mom out, the doctor didn't give me no warning. He just pulls this tube out of the side of my mom and dumps this red liquid into a cup in front of me, and I dropped to the floor. I fainted fully because no warning, bro. Yeah. I woke up. I was cussing at this doctor. I was like, "What the? You ain't gonna fucking tell me? Like you just gonna fucking in front of me, yo?" Like I was.
Kind of disrespectful when you think about it.
Yo, like my mom's drugged up. She don't know what's going on. Like, and so he, like, while I'd be sitting there painting and shit, my boyfriend would be upstairs helping with that. You know, helping to make sure she got up and drained and like bless him. Like, shout out to Malcolm 100%.
Shout out.
Most beautiful soul in the world, nicest guy in the world, heart of gold. He knows. But without that, like without having someone in my corner like that, you know, a safe space, and without having friends, without having a community like that, like I feel like, bro, I would have fucking self-destructed 100%.
Damn.
100%. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a lot. And thankfully, the job that I worked at the time, it was for a yoga studio. It's called Pranik Yoga and Wellness. And it was like a holistic, there was pranic healers, which if y'all know what pranic healing is, look into it. That shit's witchcraft. It's not, but it's cool. It's healing without touching you. And the shit works, bro. The shit fucking works. So, like, there's this lady, Anita, in this area that does pranic healing with crystal healing, but she doesn't touch you. It's all from a distance. It's all energy healing. Yo, and Malcolm will attest to this. Like, he had crutches, knee injury, walked in, did a session with her, walked out without the crutches. Never had an issue with his knee after that. Like, crazy shit. So, like, the people that was at with my job, they were putting me on to, like, all of these ways that I could help my mom, help myself, my mental sanity. So I had that as well. I was able to find this lady, this local lady that had a cancer fund for women going through, like, treatment and everything to help. They would cover the bills for the chemo sessions after. So she was helping with that, and it was like, there's a lot of stuff that definitely helped me get through that.
Yeah, that's what's up. And as far as the KD Customs, is it a way that they can like website that?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we got a website, shopkatiescustoms.com. Instagram is Katie's_customs. Look for my little spray can character on the logo. I started off with graffiti. That's like initially where like my love of hip-hop and culture and art came from. So a lot of my art when I first started off was graffiti based. So my character is a spray can, my logo is a little dripping spray can. So check it out. Yeah, check out the page.
Fire.
Yeah.
How did you get in punking and whacking? I know I kind of jumped.
How did I? Oh, okay. Yeah. So, getting into hip hop, hip hop gave me that edge. Hip hop gave me that toughness that I needed. And then I'm trying to remember who I met. I believe it was Benji in Alabama. Benji and Michael.
Shout out, yeah.
I met them, and Benji, incredible punker, called punking. Style is known as punking, but mainstream wise it's known as whacking. But I met him, and I was just like, this person is incredible. I loved it. And I met a lot of people just from traveling, just solely from traveling to different scenes and meeting different people, and seeing how it gave them this like crazy, fierce confidence is what initially intrigued me.
Yeah.
Because I got that from hip hop, but I didn't. It was almost like I had to remember my femininity. So I had to remember that like I was a woman, and that's a strength, you know, in the scene.
Real talk.
Being able to be a woman and move how women move and have that fluidity, that's a strength. So it definitely intrigued me, because I was like, oh shit, like I'm so used to being like how I am in hip hop. Like I don't really show my body. I mean, I do my makeup, but like I'm not feminine enough like that in hip hop. I feel like in hip hop I'm more tough, and I put on this persona that's completely different. So with whacking, I was like, I want to remember that part of me. You know, I want to remember that part of me, that I'm a strong woman and I can use that. So I started looking into that, started training with that.
Yeah.
Lorena out in LA, she mentored me for a while. Incredible dancer. If you don't know who she is, look her up, because she's crazy. And then I met Chris. He was putting on for the scene as well. I think he's based out in Miami. But there was an event called What the Punk that they were putting on.
I remember that.
And they were pushing a certification so that you could learn from Victor Manuel. So Victor Manuel is like he's one of the last living originators of the style. And he was going to be having the certification seminar class. So if you took you were there the whole weekend, you would get certified to teach punking in your community without any pushback. And you would get to learn from him.
Yeah.
And so I took the seminar. I met a lot of insanely amazing dancers. I did like some Vogue classes, some runway classes, but I was mostly there for the whacking certification, because I had dove headfirst into whacking. Like I was like, I'm doing this shit. Like the same energy I brought with everything else was the same. Like for me, once I hyper focus onto something, like I'm doing it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it good. Like that's how my brain works. So it was just great. It was a great weekend. I learned as much as I possibly could soak in from that weekend, and I got the certification, and it brought me, Miso, Kendra, really close together as far as in the Florida community of females who taught punking. And it was really good for me to be able to feel that level of empowerment from a style, because it's different than hip hop. It's not the same as light feet. It's not the same as house. It's a different level of empowerment and confidence that style gives you.
Right.
And the weekend, it was voguing and whacking. So it was sister styles. There was the two different scenes kind of coming together for that weekend. Yeah. So you got to see the dynamic from both. Archie Burnett was there teaching, incredible voguer, incredible whacker, one of the originators as well. So it was just really amazing. I got to meet Tracy.
Tracy Wong. Fire.
Fire. Yeah. But I just met all these incredible people, and it was dope. And it was more so like a style that I wanted to get that skill from, as far as like I could do hip hop all day, and I love hip hop, but at the same time, like I could switch it up on you if I need to.
Yeah. So, you definitely switched it up on me. You had beat me in a battle.
Did I?
Yeah, you beat me in a battle, and you was like, whacking, and I was kind of like,
shit. What event was that at? Do you remember?
It was we had all went to. It wasn't Orlando, but it was like an hour away still. I forgot, but I just remember I was wearing Rays, like all Rays baseball stuff.
My memory is not good.
Yeah.
I remember back in the days when I was punking, you couldn't tell me shit. That was like my shit.
But was the I know obviously hip hop, dances and everything. We wear a lot of baggy clothes, but was that kind of like done on purpose by you as a female in the dance community?
Yeah, for sure.
I kind of like
for sure.
Yeah.
Coming into the scene, like I said earlier, it was definitely females in the scene wasn't really a thing, and especially a powerful, strong female in the scene. They were very few and far between, and so the first, I don't remember if it was the first battle, it's been a long time. I think it was Atlanta. I think it was Montage's event.
Okay.
I think. But I had my little group, Benji, Michael, that whole Wheezy, the whole group that we travel with, the homies. Love you guys. But yeah, so I think I was also with Robo. Robo was with us as well. I don't know if Tyler was with us. We had our little gang, Misty, like Alvin, our little Florida crew that would travel. We would travel to events together. It was really cool. And we showed up, and I think it was my first battle. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. But I remember what I was wearing. I still have the photo on my Instagram page, if you go far back enough. Blonde hair to my butt. I had black yoga pants, and I had a black and white jersey. It was like tight fitted, and I had my Supras. And I entered the battle, and Robo had been training me and getting me prepared for the event. And I was still ass. I still couldn't, I was pretty ass, but I did my thing. And I remember when I got done, I did, like, everybody was coming up to me, mostly men, but they were all coming up and they were all like dapping me up and telling me how great I did and how awesome I was, and asking me if I wanted to train in session, and Nimbus was on the trip with us as well. We all crashed in a hotel together. I remember this trip. It was fine. But so I was up here, man. I was like, oh God, I did so good. Like all these people trying to meet me, trying to know my name, like so dope. I was high for like the whole rest of the event. I just thought I was killing it. And I remember when we got back to the hotel room at night and we were all kind of getting ready to go to bed, I wanted to watch my footage. And so I was sitting there with Robo and I was watching my footage, and I was just kind of like zooming in on everybody that was like everyone's faces, because I was still like, oh my God, like all these people like supporting me. And I'm a curvy woman, I got a figure. And I'm proud of it, but it was crazy because all these people in this video in the background, like all the dudes were just talking about my body and like how it looked and what they wanted to do, and I could tell. I'm good at lip reading, and people going like this, like making gestures. You can just tell that like none of them were fucking, especially the ones in the video that I knew had dapped me up afterwards. Like none of them were watching me dance. And like I'd seen enough videos of like how people react when people are like think somebody's doing dope shit, like the gestures, and like people were like this and like it wasn't like that at all. It was different. And I just remember I just kept like rewatching that video, and like I told Robo at the time, like I was like, this, like half these people like told me I did great, like, wow. And he was like, you did, and I was like, this guy's talking about my ass, like that dude's talking about my ass, like all these dudes, like that guy asked me to train, like, and it was just like a crazy eye opener, and then Robo was the one that kind of broke it down in regards to, that shit. He always kept it a buck with me, and it sucked because I felt like I didn't get any recognition or props for like the art that I had put out. I felt like I just felt like it was all a lie. So, and it sucked, it sucked because I was like, I was so happy to have made that accomplishment of like, this is my first battle, like I'm finally doing it. I'm pretty sure it was my first battle. Again, don't quote me on that. I'm like 75% sure. But I don't know who made the recommendation. Somebody was like, yo, like maybe you just gotta like wear baggy clothes. And I was like that just stuck with me, because I was like maybe that's why females be dressing like that in the scene. Like I just didn't think about it, because like the studio world, how I dress with that is like I always wore tight shit.
Yeah.
But like, not saying, again, studios or the scene is a different world today, but it just sucked, because in that moment I felt like all the hard work and training that I had done leading up to this trip was just for nothing. Like I just felt like it had just gone out the window.
Wow.
Completely. And it hurt me, because like I've always been built the way I'm built. I've always dealt with bullying. I've always dealt with sexual harassment. I've always dealt with it. I'm used to that shit. But it just sucked, because like my brain was so like ready for this new scene.
Yeah.
That it was just kind of like they're just like everybody else, bro. Like that's how it kind of felt. So from that point on, it was just kind of like, yo, anything I do, like I'm gonna make sure y'all are watching the art that I'm putting out and nothing else.
Yeah.
You know, like you're gonna watch what you're gonna see how I'm talking to you. You're gonna see what I'm saying. You're gonna see my art. You're gonna see all that shit. Nothing else. Yeah. So it was just kind of like I switched my wardrobe after that. Yeah. It was like baggy shit all the time. I'm gonna be built like a brick. Like you're not gonna be able to see shit. Like I'm gonna be built like a block, so that there's nothing for you to look at. Yeah. Nowadays it's like you can look at the fit and my moves, but that's kind of where the dynamic changed for me in regards to like how I dress. Okay. In the scene.
Yeah. And which is probably unfortunate too, because I know you're a model, right?
No.
You know the model?
No, I don't consider myself a model.
Oh, okay. I thought I seen some on your Instagram.
I mean, I've dabbled. A little bit. I don't consider myself a full-blown model. There was at one point where I thought that I had the potential. Yeah. And then I think what put me off was just like, at the time, this is, standards are different now. But like at the time, I would have been considered like a plus size model. Okay. And like I was big into like watching like America's Next Top Model and shit like that, like those shows. Yeah. And I just saw like the way that these curvy girls were treated, and I was like, I don't ever want to go through that shit. Fuck that shit. Right. And it was just like, nah. But it was like I have homies who are photographers and stuff, so like, I have photo shoots sometimes for fun, or if I'm just feeling myself and I'm just trying to, feel cute for a little while, then I'll do it.
But that's what I was getting at, that body positivity.
Yeah, 100%.
I see you like, what I'm saying, you just let your hair down on your Instas and all that stuff, as you should, you feel me? So I know that was kind of like unfortunate for you. Yeah. But what didn't we clear up? Right now, I'm going to give you the flow real quick. What didn't we clear up?
What didn't we clear up? Let me think. I think as far as like being in the scene, a really like dope memory for me, which I still talk about like to this day. I remember, I think I've been in the scene for like 3 or 4 years, just constantly showing up at events, constantly going to Argos, training with Robo, training with Tyler, training with you, like all these people that I was just learning from, and I just kept battling and putting myself out there, and still catching heat from people, still people getting in my face trying to call me out, and just kind of like taking it. I remember back in the day, all the dancers would go to ODS, Crowbar and Ybor. Like that was like the spot for every dancer Sunday nights. And I'd always go, but I never loved the music. Like I always struggled with that. As far as like dancing to music I don't like has always been something I've struggled with. And like at the time at ODS, it was like you don't stand in the cypher unless you're gonna dance. So I'd still show up, still knowing I was gonna get called out. Like it's gonna happen, it'll probably happen, but I just want to go for the energy. I just want to go. I wanted to show face. Like I wanted to make it known that like I'm gonna go to every event. Like eventually y'all are gonna get used to seeing my face. Eventually y'all are gonna take me seriously. Eventually I'm gonna be like cool with you. Like every event I went to, I made a point to talk to every single person. I made a point to comment on every single person's style, that like I loved it and I wanted to learn about it. Like just continually showing face that like I'm not a culture vulture. I'm not here to just take shit, like I really want to be a part of this. And so I remember one night I showed up at a Crowbar, and I think it was Valerie, Kat, MJ, all the cats that would be at Crowbar were there.
Yeah.
All of them. And I did the same shit I did. I wiggled my way to the front of the cypher so I could see all the shit.
Yeah.
And I remember like it was all fun and games and ciphers, and then all of a sudden it was like everyone like turned to me and started giving me rounds, like aggressive fucking rounds. And I just remember at first I was like looking around like thinking it's just like we just making eye contact. And then I realized like, no wait, this dude's like in my face, like fully in my face, like fucking in my face, bro. And just one after another. And like then Kat came for me, Kat Cutthroat came for me, Valerie was coming for me, and I remember at one point it really started fucking with me because I was like, what did I do? Like like everything was going through my mind because I was like, holy shit, like I think Ricky was there, Dante Angel for sure. And like, yeah, I literally was like, don't cry, bro. Like it just kept, because it was so much intensity, so much aggression, and I was like, what do I do? And then like I was getting yelled at that I needed to fucking give them rounds. Like like they're battling me, bro. It's a call out. Like, and it was just like, I'm still very insecure about my dancing. Like ciphering, jumping in a cipher is something that I've always struggled with. Like it's hard if I don't feel the energy, if I don't like the music, like I just don't want to jump in. And back then, like I did not cipher. I just didn't do it. And everybody that knew me knew that I didn't. So it was hard because I was like anxious. So I was like, I'm gonna cry, bro. And I did throw some rounds, but I definitely was like, what did I do? Like, where's all this aggression coming from? And like, I remember I went off to the side and I was like, you could see it on my face that I was like maybe gonna cry. But I was like, I was getting ready to leave because I was just like, I don't know what I did. Like, I didn't know what the fuck that was about. And I just remember like Kat like came up behind me and like grabbed me, and I think MJ was there too. And I remember Kat was like, listen, like you're in the scene now. Like that's what that was. Like you're in the scene. Like that was all of us just basically like we see you. Like that's what that was. Like shake it off. Like shake it off, keep fucking moving. And I just remember being like that moment for me was just fucking crazy because I know MJ had some words for me too. Like it was a couple of the dancers were coming up to me and like putting their arm around me or dapping me up and just being like, hey, like it's like that's how we are. Like we do that shit. Like you're here now. Like that's what that was. I don't know who clarified it. I think it was either MJ or Kat, but one of them clarified it and was just like, that's what that was. Dust it off. Like, we don't hate you, bro. Like, we all see you. You're here. Like, you're in the scene. We understand that you want to be a part of the community. Like, that's what that was. Like, if you're going to be in the community, like, this is what it is. And I was just like, that was crazy for me. That was like a big turning point for me because I was just like, I did it, bro. Like, I did it. So that was crazy. That was cool. I don't know if they remember that, but that has stuck with me forever. That'll always stick with me because that was just such a great moment. Wow. You know, it was cool.
Nah, yeah, that's a good story. Cool. You had any inspirations for the dance scene, like people that you kind of looked up to?
That I look up to?
Yeah.
Oof. Over the years, I've had a bunch.
Okay.
I feel like as I've gotten older, not anymore. But coming up in the scene, I definitely had a bunch for sure. I just have dancers I respect now. I don't have any dancers I idolize. I don't have any dancers that I want to be like. Like I'm big on, when I teach now, I'm big on that. Like I just feel like they're people who worked for it. You know? And like anytime I teach anybody, like I say the same thing, like don't try to be like somebody. Like find your own shit, you know? And like the journey is like the journey is the only thing that people want to hear about when you get to the top, you know? So it's like, I feel like people get so hyper focused on like trying to be like this person, trying to be better than this person. Like, and I just feel like you're gonna suck, you're gonna be good, then you're gonna suck. That's how the scene works. One day somebody's on top, next week that person's on bottom. You know, one day someone wins thesis, the next event they don't make it out of prelims. Like it's like shit's with dance, there's never anybody that's at the top. Everybody, it's constantly going like this, which I love. And I just feel like if you work on perfecting your craft and you work on dancing for yourself, and making sure that when you dance, you do it because you feel good.
Yeah.
And when you finish dancing, you can look back and feel good about it. Then you learn to like love the journey. Yeah. Rather than, oh shit, like I've been in the scene for this long. Oh fuck, like they're not really, you know, like. Yeah. You know, I just feel like, for me, I just don't have anybody that I idolize. I focus more on like right now where I'm at mentally, like where I'm at, how I feel, and then I have the dancers that I look at and they have my respect. Like I respect what they do, I respect what they've done, I respect what they say, how they do it. Like I just have dancers I respect. That's right. They have my respect. That's real. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna let you go, but we gotta do one more thing. All right, so I do this with every episode. You got one dancer you can session with. Okay. One dancer you can either battle with or battle. Okay. And then another dancer you can perform with, all in the Florida dance community.
Okay, so battle. What was it? Battle, perform. What was
or a session with.
Session, battle, perform. Yeah. Ooh. Okay. Session with, for sure. Oh shit, there's a few of them. Session would be Tyler. Okay. Singletary. Tyler the Creator. Does he still go by that?
I don't know.
Session for sure. Love Tyler. Tyler was actually like one of the first ones that ever put me on what real hip hop dance was. For sure. Like he was the one that put me on what YouTube videos to watch, what to train, like what mentors to go to. Like that dude is the main reason why I was able to become so educated in it.
Damn, shout out to bros.
And learn from the right people. He taught me a lot about the culture and the understanding of what it is, and that dance comes from Black and Latino culture, and how you should move to make sure you're paying respect, paying homage to the right people, and making sure you're contributing, giving back to a culture, and not taking from the culture. Right. Just making sure you're doing everything you can to do right by, and do right by the people that paved the way for a lot of dope dancers in the scene. So Tyler for sure, top of the list. Battle with?
Yeah, battle with or battle.
Okay, battle with or battle. Honestly, it's solely based on like history wise. Okay. And for me, growing up in the scene. Yeah. Sweet face, Dante. And he knows. Me, like I said, Dante used to be one of those ones in the scenes that was like ruthless, bro. And he knows. Me and him were not cool for a while because I was just trying to be in the scene. I keep doing that. I was just trying to be in the scene, and he was one of those cats that like cutthroat. Bro. Yeah. But I remember, like, to this day, I still remember, like, at one point, like, we made up, and it was really beautiful, and we were able to, like, I feel like there was that understanding, the same thing of, like, okay, I'm not just some random person coming in, like, I really want to be here, and I feel like that was that level of respect that we were able to see eye to eye and become cool with, and I respect the fuck out of him. I always tell him every time I see him, he's one of my top favorite dancers, 100%. I love watching him dance all the time. And so yeah, just to come full circle, just to be like that moment of like, you remember when I wasn't shit? You remember when you got in my face, bro, because I was just standing on the sideline? Now what's up? Like that's solely what it is. It's just from like, it's all love. Because I respect the fuck out of him. I think he's a great dancer. And I was privileged enough to do Red Bull. That was another thing. I was privileged enough to do Red Bull with him. 2 years in a row. I was privileged enough to do it with him. And that was crazy to me because I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like that was, I think I even said that to him, like while we were there, like, hey, you're like, remember when I wasn't shit, you used to fucking bust my balls about not dancing, not ciphering, and now look at us.
Yeah.
Sitting up here in a VIP at fucking Red Bull, like, so that was cool. So definitely that, and then the other one was showcasing. Ooh, showcasing. That's a hard one, bro. That's fucking hard.
Real shit.
In the dance community, there's so many. Like, this is gonna take me a minute. Honestly, this sucks because my brain is like, fucking, I don't know.
Yeah.
Throw some names out, bro. I can't like struggling to think. I'm struggling to think.
I had everybody say who they want.
I'm trying to think. I haven't showcased in a minute. And the one time I did showcase was at Thesis, was with someone that wasn't technically even in the scene.
Yeah,
so it was a beautiful fucking performance.
It was.
It was beautiful.
That
was dope. And honestly, okay, wait. To do a showcase with, I feel like it'd have to be Rubik's.
Okay.
Rubik's.
All right.
Yeah, homie. Total homie. Great hip hop dancer. Dope. We go way back. He's always been in my corner.
Yeah.
Outcast Ninjas.
Yeah.
Oh no, Rubik's or G. Both Outcast. Both Outcast. Both love to death. Both respect for both of them. Only because B and G, I think we almost did do a showcase together at one point, and it didn't happen.
Oh, okay.
But G or Rubik's have to be one of the top. Shady would be up there too.
Shady would be up there too. Yeah.
All hip hop heads,
serious.
all incredible people. G is like my little sister, most pure-hearted person I've ever met in my life. She's the sweetest, most down-to-earth person. She's from Lithuania. Her movement is crazy. The way that she interprets music is crazy. Musicality is crazy. She's just such a unique dancer. Rubik's is just such a powerful, technical dancer. I mean, the shit that he can come up with is just insane to me.
Yeah.
His musicality is great. Super down-to-earth person. Always put on for hip-hop. Outkast as a crew has always been a crew that if